Hello everyone watching this video. I hope you are doing good wherever you are. Today I'm going to share with you about the business activity. And just to do a recap a bit, in my previous videos, I've shared with you about the approach to the paper 1 questions and the approach to the paper 2 questions. And I guess you still remember how to analyze, how to apply, and how to evaluate your answers in a way that will enable you to get an A star. So, to begin with, let us see which areas are going to be covered in this topic. Number 1, the concepts of needs, wants, scarcity, and opportunity cost. Number 2, the importance of specialization. Number 3, the purpose of business activity. Number 4, the concept of adding value and how this value can be increased. So let us first talk about the meaning of the term business. What comes to your mind when you hear the word business? So according to our syllabus, a business is an organization that combines inputs, which are known also as the factors of production, to create a finished good or a service, which they can sell to us, the consumers or the customers, or simply their market. And businesses, they operate in 2 sectors of the economy, namely the private and the public sectors. And that's a topic for another day. Businesses are meant to help address the economic problem. And we explain what this problem is all about. No economy is able to address this problem because it's always there, regardless of what solutions we try to implement. Every economy still faces such a problem. So the first term here, we need to know what we mean by the term needs. A need is a good or a service essential for living, meaning to say we need it for our survival. For us to live, we need such a product. We cannot do without it. For example, water, food, shelter. They are examples of what we call a need. Secondly, want. A want is a good or a service that people would like to have, but is not required for living, meaning to say we can do without it. You don't need such a product for you to live or to survive, unlike a need. For example, cars, watching movies, we can do away without such products. Then we have what we call scarcity. Scarcity refers to what we call the economic problem, which is simply a situation that exists when there are unlimited wants and limited resources to produce the goods and services to satisfy those wants. So, us as humans, we want to have everything in the world. We want to own a lot of things, but the resources, they limit us. And the result is what we call scarcity. The goods available and the services available, they are not enough to cater for all our wants. So, whenever there is scarcity, people are forced to make a choice as to what to have, what to buy, what to produce. So let's see what happens when there is scarcity in an economy. Whenever there is scarcity, the result is choice. You are forced to make a choice depending on the level of priority of such a product to you as the consumer. So whenever you make a choice, the result is known as opportunity cost. So what is opportunity cost? It is the value of the next best alternative forgone when a choice is made. So whenever there is scarcity, you are forced to make a choice. And when you make a choice, the result is opportunity cost. We always try by all means to make ends meet by utilizing the fewer resources that we have. But since we cannot buy everything in the world with the money that we have, we tend to focus on products which are more valuable to us than the others. For example, the government may not raise a lot of revenue from their taxes. So they can go on to decide whether to build a road, to construct a hospital, or any other activity that they choose to go for. So whenever they are faced with two options to go for, or to construct or to build, in this case here, they may be forced to build a road. And when they build a road, that means a hospital becomes the opportunity cost. And if they decide to construct a hospital, that means building a road becomes the opportunity cost. So whatever option that you're going to sacrifice will become your opportunity cost. For you to produce as a business, you require what we call the factors of production, which are known also as the resources that you require as a business to produce the goods or the services. So these factors, they come in 4 categories. Number 1, we have what we call land. So land refers to all the natural resources that can be obtained from nature or from the earth and sea. So this includes resources such as minerals, forests, oil, gas. All those are what we call land. And the reward of obtaining or having such is known as rent. Secondly, we have what we call labor. Labor, it refers to the physical and mental effort put in by the workers in the production process. So some jobs, they require physical effort, and some they require mental effort. Just like teaching, it requires you to use the mental effort to deliver a lesson. And the reward for labor is a wage or a salary. Thirdly, we have what you call capital. Capital, it refers to the finance, machinery, and equipment that you require to produce a good or a service. And the reward for capital is interest received on the capital that you have invested in a particular business. And finally, we have what we call enterprise. Enterprise is the risk-taking ability or skill of the person who brings the other factors of production, which are the land, the labor, and the capital, to produce a good or service. So if you have that ability, that skill to combine the other 3 factors, then you become an entrepreneur. And the reward for enterprise is profit from the business. So these are what you call the factors of production, their meanings as well as their rewards. You need to understand that. Next thing, let's talk about specialization. This occurs when a person or organization concentrates on a task at which they are best at. So if it's a person, for example, I am a teacher, my area of specialty is the commercial subject. I can teach business and accounting subjects well because that's my area of specialty. Some businesses, they also produce laptops. Some produce only cell phones. Those are their areas of specialty. Some, they are there to produce cars. Some, they produce mealie meal. That's their area of specialty. So it's determined with the skills that they have, the resources that they have may also help them determine which area they are strong in. And then they will specialize in that particular area. So instead of everyone doing every job, the tasks are divided among people who are skilled and efficient at them. Never will you give someone who is good in accounting to go and produce goods, because that's not the area of specialty. But everyone is supposed to get a task which relates or which suits their skills, their qualification, and their experience. Then that's what you call area of specialty, or simply specialization. So what benefits does this have to the workers as well as to the business? Number one, the moment you specialize, the workers are trained to do a particular task and they specialize in this area. Automatically, this increases efficiency, meaning to say they will not take time to produce a product. And when they produce, they will not waste a lot of resources in such an area. Resources and time wastages are going to be minimal since someone or since the worker understands how to do their job well. It also saves time and energy. Instead of you taking 5 hours, you will now take 1 hour because you now understand how to perform your task, and then you produce faster through specializing. It's also quicker to train laborers. So workers, they only concentrate on a task. They do not have to be trained in all aspects of the production process, but only on a particular area that they are going to work on. So you don't need to learn about a lot of tasks, but only that area you are going to focus on. And another point there is skill development. How so? Workers can develop their skill as they do the same tasks repeatedly. And by doing that, you end up understanding your job well. You master everything about that particular task you are performing. So you become an expert in your field, an expert in your department or area of work. But however, this also carries some drawbacks. The moment you specialize and one is performing the same task again and again, it can get monotonous or simply boring for workers who keep on doing the same task again and again. And somehow it might lead to inefficiency. And also, it may lead to higher labor turnover. Why? As the workers may demand for higher salaries and the company may be unable to keep up with their demands. So these employees, these workers will be forced to seek employment in other organizations where they can get a better remuneration, hence leaving your organization. And also, it leads to over-dependency. So if a worker now becomes responsible for a particular task, the moment they're absent, that means the entire process of production may halt, and since nobody else may be able to do that particular task. So there will not be enough products to be produced because that person will not be available or is absent. So it affects the quantities that you are going to produce as a business. So businesses, they have three major purposes of existence. Number one, businesses, they combine the scarce factors of production, the land, the labor, the capital, and enterprise in order to produce goods, which are the tangible products, and services, which are the intangible products. Tangible meaning to say you can see, touch, or feel them. For example, a laptop, you can feel it. You can touch it. You can quantify such a product or products. Then intangible, meaning to say you cannot touch, see, feel, or even count the product, but you can only measure the quality of the service delivery, for example, teaching. So that's the first purpose of business activity. Secondly, businesses, they produce goods and services which are needed to satisfy the needs and wants of the market or of the population, meaning to say they convert the inputs or simply the raw materials into outputs, which can either be semi-finished and finished goods that can be sold to their customers. And thirdly, businesses employs people as workers, and they pay them salaries or wages to allow them to consume products made by other people. So these three are the major purposes of business activity. And another area here you need to understand as well is adding value and how to increase the added value. So what do you mean by the term added value? It's simply the difference between the selling price of the finished product or service and the production costs involved in making that particular product. So the added value is the increase in value that a business creates by undertaking the production process. The value of the raw materials or parts which are separate or not assembled is different from the value or the selling price of the finished product. So the difference of these two is what we define as added value. The value of flour is lesser than the value of bread or a cake. The difference becomes what you call added value. So think about a car producer. Car producers, they assemble, some they assemble parts, some they produce from scratch. So the value of their material that they use to produce and the value of the car which has been produced, you find the difference between the two, and then we have what you call the added value. So at each stage of production or assembly of that particular product, value is going to be added until they arrive at the final product. And also, if it's a service, the moment you maybe utilize a celebrity to prepare a meal at your restaurant, that may also allow you to charge a higher price for your product. Meaning to say the higher price you are going to charge in this case, whereas your cost of buying the ingredients remain the same. The value means to say you are going to have an increased added value of your products. So these are all ways that you can have added value in your business. So let's talk about the ways which added value can benefit us as a business. So added value is very important to every business. Why? Because of, number one, it allows the business to pay for other costs, such as labor, management costs, advertising, electricity or power, etc. It also allows the business to generate a profit if the costs come to a total that is less than the added value. So remember this, we calculate added value by saying sales revenue minus cost of materials. And if your costs of materials are lesser than the sales revenue, then we have what you call added value. In some texts, they simply say selling price minus the cost of bought-in materials. Then we have what you call added value. So how best can you increase this added value? There are two major ways that you can utilize to increase added value. The first one, it is to increase the selling price, but keep the cost of materials the same. That's the first way. And how best can you increase the selling price? There are a number of ways you can do that. Number one, you must build a brand, a reputation of quality and value. That's what the customers are prepared to pay for. For example, you talk about Nike trainers. They sell much more than high-tech trainers, even though the production costs per pair are similar. But because of the name Nike, it allows them to sell at a higher price. So you must create a name for your business in the market, and customers will be willing to pay for any amount that you charge on your product. Secondly, delivering excellent service. The moment you provide high quality services, you try by all means to be attentive to personal service, which can make the difference between achieving a higher price or a medium one. Customers, what they want the most is higher quality as well as lower prices. So if you are going to provide higher quality services, all customers will be attracted to your business, and that will allow you to charge a higher price for your service. Thirdly, product features and benefits. Try by all means to add a number of features on your products, or to keep on upgrading your products, adding some new features that will give the customers a drive to want to keep on buying your products. For example, you see cars, they keep on upgrading their car models, and the designs may be changed here and there, the features, the lights, all that attracts customers. A good example is about the cell phone industry. The Nokia, Samsung. Nokia failed to keep on upgrading their cell phones for some time, and they lost their market share. But Samsung managed to switch to the touchscreen cell phones. That's what the customers were in need of, and they managed to attract a number of customers, unlike Nokia, which failed to do that. So try to continuously upgrade your products. Next way is offering convenience. Make sure your product is very much closer to the market, which will allow them to save time to go and buy it. By doing that, you can go on to charge a higher price than a product which is far away from the market. So convenience is the way to go if you also want to increase the selling price. Then the second way is to reduce the cost of materials, but keep the price the same. And this can be achieved by identifying a cheaper supplier of your raw materials in the market. Don't go on to buy expensive materials. Go for the cheaper ones, which have a lower cost on your part as a business. And by doing that, if your price remains the same, the difference now will allow you to have an increased added value. But however, this may also mean you'll be forced to buy a lower quality material, and then your products may be also of poor quality, and that may drive away the customers. So make sure you buy also higher quality materials from a cheaper supplier in order for you to maintain your lower price as well as the higher quality. That's what the customers call for. So a business that successfully adds value should find that it is able to operate profitably. Because the moment you don't make profits as a business, you may fail to keep on running your business in the long run. So your profits should always be available to keep on financing other areas. And do not confuse add value and profit. You find add value by saying selling price minus the cost of materials. And you calculate profit by saying the sales revenue minus the total costs of producing and operating a particular business. Then you find profit. All right. So just a summary before I end this video. Remember this: businesses are there to address the economic problem. And what is economic problem? It's a situation which arises due to limited resources and unlimited human wants. So when the resources are limited and the wants are unlimited, the result is scarcity. Whenever there is scarcity, you are forced to make a choice. And when you make a choice, the result is opportunity cost. And whenever you make opportunity cost, you are forced now to find ways in which you can utilize those resources you have to produce or to buy a product of your choice that will satisfy your needs and wants. Then a business is also forced to produce a product that will satisfy the needs and wants of their customers. Thank you very much for listening. I'll see you again in the next video. And for more information about me, you can read or can send me an email on my email address below. I'll see you in our next video. Ciao.